all of a sudden nobody hears what I say.
Good job.
I'm going to let the state make a record of why they believe it's objectionable, because I haven't let.
It's been some of the most viral moments you could ever imagine in a trial. And we see court TV, like lineups of crazy behavior that defendants have. And usually, you usually don't talk big shit like that to a judge unless you're like getting ready to be body slammed anyway. So, and it's really horrible to the community that this Waukesha defendant named Darrell Brooks, a sovereign citizen, and I'm going to talk about that, my personal experiences from prison with the sovereign citizen, contingent. But it's really painful for the community to sit there and watch as this man chose to defend himself, as he basically used this as another opportunity to like badger and terrorize the people that he hurt.
That because I did not want to give the prison officials the satisfaction.
Crossing with.
According to an unclassified summary of the March Intelligence Assessment, the two most lethal elements of the domestic violence extremist threat are racially.
But they key in a locker, so.
First of all, if you've never heard of what a sovereign citizen, just to break it down, what a sovereign citizen is basically claiming is that since nobody consulted them and they didn't assent or agree or acquiesce to being a citizen of the United States, and this really is a homegrown like delusion. It's really been taken up by people who are usually on death row or in the throes of some terroristic conviction. I think some of the first people to ever do it were like Black Panthers who had shot cops. This is off the top of my head, I think from prison lore, from being in prison. But they're basically say, hey, I never agreed to be an American citizen, although they have social security numbers, they have driver's licenses, they've paid taxes, they've gotten benefits like little Section 8, food stamps, TANF, run it all down. So it's like, well, you are a citizen, so shut the F up, Community that this Waukesha defendant named Darrell Brooks, a sovereign citizen, and I'm going to talk about that, my personal experiences from prison with the sovereign citizen, contingent. But it's really painful for the community to sit there and watch as this man chose to defend himself, as he basically used this as another opportunity to like badger and terrorize the people that he hurt, because they're his witnesses, the people he injured. And the hate that's coming out of his eyes is really something. I mean, you just see this man's scorn for the actual process, and I get it. You're to trial for your life, but this man has to realize, and he doesn't have a lawyer to tell him that he isn't winning any favors because he's trying to convince 12 men and women.
Bad one. You see, welcome to
Look
Sidebar.
at this guy in the background, his face. And you know what he's actually looking at is the jury. First of all, probably be the jury or a member of the public in the gallery. But the jury's probably visibly shook by the shit that this man's saying. And I think he's probably just wishing, because they have to ensure all this is copacetic and on the up and up, because he can appeal. And a lot of people would think that this is why he was even pulling this ridiculous defense, is because he was going for the nut appeal. And colloquially, the jailhouse lawyer would tell you is that, sorry, edited that part out, the mumbling. But he's trying to either get a crazy plea or having the case thrown out in appeal. But really, he's just a hard-headed, ignorant mother effer,
At one point, Brooks called as a witness his ex-girlfriend, Erica Patterson, as he was presenting his case. Now, she had previously testified for the state, and it's alleged that Darrell Brooks, got into a fight with Erica Patterson and attacked her right before he drove his car into the parade.
So right there, that just shows you this type of man. He is a little crybaby and throws temper tantrums. And not just, hey, put my fist through the wall. No, he goes and commits mass murder, and then has zero repentance following it.
So when she was on the stand, he wanted to show that she wasn't a good mother, and that she's not a credible witness, and that she wasn't telling the truth, particularly about the last time that she had had contact with him. And that's when, while she's on the stand, he pulls out these photographs, and the state objected because they hadn't been shown these before. And outside the presence of the jury, prosecutor Zach Witchow talked about what would happen if these photos were allowed in, and he revealed something very bad about Brooks' past.
And this is the part that apparently he's a SO. He's a sex offender. I do believe this is, and yeah, I remember, yep, and I knew it, because this is what I was saying. The sex offenders love pulling this shit out. I'm telling you, anytime you got a law library person, and a law library person in prison is somebody who's smart enough to know they should be hitting the books, but stupid enough to, and having a lack of self-awareness enough to realize, what does this look like from the outside looking in? Because they don't give a fuck. They're completely psychotic.
And as you'll see, Brooks was not too happy about it.
3, I believe that these photographs are designed to make a suggestion to the jury that Erica Patterson is a bad mom. I think that that's what the defendant is trying to do. And if we're going to go down that road, then we would be forced to counter that claim. First of all, it doesn't make her an incredible witness, if it's even true. And second of all, if we go down that road, we would be forced to counter that claim by pointing out that not only does the defendant not live with the child in question, he doesn't live with any of the other children that he has. He impregnated Erica Patterson when she was a minor in Nevada, and for doing so, he was convicted of statutory sexual seduction, pled guilty.
Ooh-wee! So his child is born, it's a love child, if you will, but of a, let's say, a sex offender relationship, or a pedophilic relationship with this woman.
In March of 2007 to that felony offense, and is a sex offender on the registry as a result. So if there's any causation that would lead to Erica Patterson being a bad mom, Mr. Brooks has a direct role in that causation.
Yeah, and he's 100% right, because he, and we're not a chivalrous society anymore, unfortunately, in a lot of ways, but he took her honor. And also, a big thing, they just blew the whistle on this guy. So any yard this guy goes to, and there's really only 2 or 3 yards in Wisconsin, and they're actually kind of sweet, I know, because I've done time in Illinois. Several guys who I met who had done time there. But he's not going to one of the sweet spots. He's going to he's going to the place where Jeffrey Dahmer rode a broomstick, but not like a witch, let's say. Like a B.I. itch.
And that's
Furthermore,
I object to that,
I'm not
because
sure.
that's a lie.
Let
Because
him
at the end
finish.
of the day,
Let
if
him
we
finish,
gonna open the door
Mr.
on that, no,
Brooks.
since he want to make a record and not be accurate, so let's be accurate all on the record, since you think you know so much.
Once
So
again,
we can
Mr.
open the
Brooks
door
is
on.
being
We can
loud,
open the door on how old she told me she was when we met.
interrupting.
We can.
None of that matters, dude. None of that. And that is not a defense. You see what this is? This is narcissism, and this is psychopathy. This is where the whole world's wrong but you. And this man is trouble from get. And look, just by his stature here, you see my little cursor? His head is way too goddamn big for his body. That thing ain't full of nothing but goddamn black supremacist talking points and sovereign citizen, ideology. That somebody probably talked him up. Some jailhouse lawyer's like, nah, man, you go out there, you tell them white motherfuckers, look here, man, I never consent to these motherfucking laws. That's what you tell them white motherfuckers.
Ask that question
He is
too, then.
over the
Did you
top
ask that?
animated
Do you
right
know
now.
that?
Mr. Brooks, I'm ordering you to sit down and to let the state
No,
finish.
I'm not going to sit here and let somebody be inaccurate on the record and lie on the record.
Right. Under Illinois versus Allen, I've warned.
Yeah, that's not lying on the record, buddy. you are responsible for who you stick your pecker in. You're responsible if they're conscious. You're responsible if they're underage. If they're not wanting you to stick your pecker in them. No, bro. And good luck spending life as a SO. And he's probably gonna have to be shipped around to different joints because anywhere he goes in the state of Wisconsin, people are going to touch him up like a bad paint job. This boy is going to have hands and feet because he killed people's family. And the blacks aren't going to cover his shit. They're not going to co-sign him. The whites are going to say, hey, we want to basically, whack this dude in so many words. And they're going to say, fair game. First of all, the judge did a great job in this case. First of all, it probably shouldn't have, and this is messed up to say, but it probably shouldn't have been a woman who was hearing this case, because this man, and it's just, you could tell she was clearly intimidated. You could see when she read the verdict to this case that she was horrible. I mean, she was in dread. I mean, she had her hair flipped over so he couldn't see her because he's sitting there just scowling. I don't know why he's wearing a face mask. If you're wearing a face mask at this point, you might as well be wearing a football helmet. But he's sitting there, and I'll play this as like an overlay or something like that. But it was crazy to watch. And these sovereign citizen guys, usually they're like NOI or related to some type of black supremacist group like the Moorish temple, whatever. And we're going to talk about that. So he's on you. So that's what's going to happen to him.
Repeatedly, he's being removed from the courtroom. And you know what? Let me dial that back. We're just going to take an early lunch, 1 hour. We'll be back. And unless he brings that letter and he can show it is inadmissible, she will not be questioned. And under 906.11, I will declare the cross-examination closed. Thank you. We're in recess. 1 hour.
Get your facts straight. So let's open the door on all of it then, so we can get all of it on the record.
Here's the other thing about this guy, dude. The people who are gonna ride with you through a bit are your family, and this lady obviously was sending him some type of photos and everything. He takes that goodwill and just runs her name in the dirt on viral clips. So. And his family probably wants nothing to do with him. So it's like, dude, you're about to do life, and you just took your one, person who was fucking with you, and you just ran their name and said they're trash, and outed yourself as a sex offender to the world.
Since you think you know so much.
This trial is about.
I don't care what you believe fully.
All right.
It's not a game. I don't take this as a game. That's what nobody. You don't gotta explain nothing to me.
Do you want?
That's what you don't understand. You think?
First, buddy, she does have to explain something to you. There's a lot of procedural mumbo jumbo in court that says, "Are you under the influence? Has anybody made any promises about this? Yada yada yada." A lot of procedural mumbo jumbo that usually have an attorney who's not a flaring asshole, like they just ate some 3-week-old Taco Bell in the back of their fridge.
I think that this is a whole game to me. This is not a game to me, Your Honor.
This ain't no motherfucking game. This ain't no motherfucking game.
It's smoky, so his toe slipped over a little, It's just a game, man.
This is a league game. This determines who enters the next round robin. Am I wrong?
Nothing about this is a joke. That's what y'all don't understand.
But
it is unfair. It's unfair and it's disrespectful to me that you think I would come in here purposely and treat this like a joke or a game.
No, he's
Am I the only one around here gives a shit about the rules? Walk at zero.
We're going to see it, I'm sure. If not, I'm going to find a clip of it on this reaction. But he asks to have his feet, asks to have his shackles or his leg irons removed before the sentence is being read. Like, really? Okay.
Your Honor, seeing is that we've reached the verdict, is it necessary that I have these shock devices on my ankles?
And I have a funny story about that, but I'll tell it at another time, of somebody who actually got out of some shackles while I was sitting in in the vestibule next to the court. But anyway,
Said it was a joke.
What type of statement is that?
Mr.
Your life is not on the line. Mine is. And you think that I think this is funny?
I don't.
you see, once again, the narcissism pops up. This isn't about his life. This is about the 6 people's lives he took, and not just took. Dude, he brutally murdered these people. This is blunt force. If you shot somebody, at least you put them out of their misery. If you're, not to get too graphic about it, but if you have half a brain, you understand what I'm talking about. It's instantaneous versus literally a brick wall hitting you while you're not looking, and this dude thinks it's his life that's on trial. No. This is about the 60, 70 people that you ruined their life, and then all the people you traumatized, and then all the people who had to come in as witnesses because you wouldn't hop on. Well, hopping on a plea is never advisable when you're fighting a murder. But this guy was dead to rights, dude. He probably could have gotten some type of offer where he had a light at the end of the tunnel if he just would have avoided. Would have said, "Oh, I snapped out." He probably could have gotten a second-degree murder, but actually a timeline on his prison sentence. No regrets. He's living the no regrets life.
I don't think it's funny whatsoever.
So I think, Your Honor, with all due respect, I think you should show some respect.
We're going to take a 5-minute break, and when we come back, the jury's coming.
Woo!
And you need to call your next witness. Thank you.
Oh, man, her patience is just unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable. But she's a woman. She can't check this guy like he needs to be checked. Like, yo, sit the hell down. And there's judges. Here's the thing. If you do that, though, you blow your ability to hear the case. Because you've just, you've given him an out. And she did so well not to do that. But to have a stern in the voice. Because this guy's a little B.I.H., dude. He ran over people who weren't even looking. He's a coward. He got in an argument with his girlfriend, who he molested as a child, and now he's butthurt and storms off and hops in the back of his car, this bust ass SUV. You got to buy here, pay here, and goes and murders some people.
Thank you. We are in
recess.
recess.
You're not rushing me to judgment. I don't care what you talk.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Holy shit! What happened? That guy just zoomed right past everybody.
So you can imagine how insulting it is when Darrell Brooks comes in after killing 6 people, mowing 70 down or so, a bunch of grandmas in a Christmas parade. And he said, "Hey, I never agreed to your rules." And was the SUV he was driving. He had these pictures doing a rap video and some janky used car. You got to probably a buy here, pay here, and completely ridiculous person. And a lot of times when you're in these situations, I bet not even looking at the dude's criminal background, probably involved with the police a lot. It's probably wasn't his first rodeo. And just to sit there and say, I never agreed to your laws. And so I was justified in mowing these people down. He tried to say it was a defect on the vehicle. That has got to be hurtful and painful, and it's just good that justice was meted out, but it's unfortunate that they don't have the death penalty, honestly. So
I'm the only one. I got one ear that work, and I heard that.
This is to benefit you, so that you understand your witness has a prior record.
Your Honor, when I leave the table, I'm away from the courtroom, and I have to elevate my voice. This is the alleged record of ableist.
Stop talking.
Come on, man. I don't know who y'all be thinking y'all fooling. I accept the value in return for value. This document.
One more interruption and you're going to be removed to the next courtroom.
That's what you want to do anyway.
I mean, dude, back in the day, they used to just, in a situation like this, they would just taking you out and strung you out. That would have been what would have happened. So.
It's not what I want to do. Do not interrupt Attorney Opper.
Your Honor, I believe he has 7 prior criminal convictions via OWI 2nd from 1997, and OWI 3rd from 1997, and OWI 4th from 2003. Criminal.
Okay, this ain't helping right here, big dog. Let me tell you. The mean mug for the judge, man, this ain't helping, buddy. You just, you just hopped out of the damn, frying pan into the skillet, and he's lucky they didn't have the death penalty. I tell you what, he's lucky he wasn't in Texas.
Trespass to dwelling from 2006.
All right, I need to take a break. This man right now is having a stare down with me. It's very disrespectful. He pounded his fist. Frankly, it makes me scared.
A murder case is actually way harder to try than, including dipshits like this, is way harder to try because there's requires so many, so much evidence and so many witnesses. So much goes into it, and it's a costly thing to do. And this dude's gonna appeal anyway. I bet he has trust none or something on his eye right there. Oh, I've seen some goofy face tats in my day, but yeah, she doesn't want him to have any wiggle room to get out of this in an appeal. No pun
I'm a grown man with grown kids. Ain't nobody gonna talk to me like that. Nobody.
You sure don't act like it.
I don't have a problem with doing what you ask me to do, not tell me.
You can tell that this woman is super uncomfortable, but she did such a damn good job. And everyone in this case who sat there and made sure this man got his due process, they deserve a shot and a beer for any time they walk into a bar anywhere in the area. Just drinks on the house, at least the first couple.
Just like when I asked you about subject matter jurisdiction that you have yet to prove on the record. But somehow I'm being intentionally disruptive.
This is what he's talking about, the sovereign citizen defense. This is what he's talking about, the jurisdiction. You don't got jurisdiction over me. It doesn't matter if you're a Saudi prince or, a Aboriginal from Australia. If you do something in Wisconsin that's against the law, as long as you don't have diplomatic immunity, you are going to go to jail, or whatever the hell punishment according, so to speak. But yeah, this guy's a goofy.
Come on, man, stop! Just stop it.
Just stop.
Jury's coming out.
All right, Smokey, my friend. You're entering a world of pain.
Walter, man.
You mark that frame and 8, you're entering a world of pain.
I'm not.
A world of pain.
That's what it is. Come on, man.
Mr. Brooks.
Come on, man, stop.
Come on, man, stop. Come on, man, stop. When you go to law school, they do this Socratic debate stuff. And this man, he'd start talking to somebody, where you like throwing your hand in their face. Goof ass motherfucker. Yeah, stop, man. Stop.
Stop it.
Rebuttal.
Stop it. You're a public servant, Your Honor. I respect your courtroom. I respect you. You're a public.
Look at her. I respect your courtroom and I respect her. This poor woman, dude. I'm gonna be a gunner, which is what they call that in prison.
Servant, though. Your job is to be the referee. Is it not? You stated so yourself on record that your job is being the umpire.
Your Honor, can I ask Ms. Patterson please be excused?
Yes, you can be excused.
Who's talking about? Oh my God! And this lady back here, she's like, "What the fuck?" You look at that face expression. That just looked like. She's got. I don't know who she's working for there, but she's watched this whole thing. I've seen her in a few clips.
My apologies.
My apologies too, but it needs to be some truth. Especially when we're talking about stuff that didn't even happen, but they're allowed to get on the stand and say that it happened when they know it didn't happen.
And honestly, that's not out of callousness that I say it's bad that they don't have the death penalty. That's out of personal experience. I did time in an institution called Shawnee Correctional Center. It was a high medium. So you had guys there who had started off on death row, and they got rid of death row in the state of Illinois. And depending on when you were sentenced to death row, it would be because they commuted them all down to life sentences. And based on what time frame that happened, your life sentence would either be at 50% or like 100%, statutory good time. So you really had guys who basically were on death row and got a life sentence, and because they got sentenced at a certain time frame that it was basically classified as a nonviolent crime, they had enough time to like walk free that day. But I met these guys and they're chilling. They're doing life in prison or like the statutory life, and there's really no like punishment to a lot of these guys. They're institutionalized. They got 3 hots in a cot. They got all this shit because they've been there so long. And a lot of these joints will give you like a state loan, a state issue of like a TV or like a lot of them have typewriters because they're always trying to fight, goofy. They'll get tickets and write-ups or shots, they call them in the feds. And be hammering away, fighting these cases, always in the law library. And usually you watch the law library line, and this is some of my observation, that a lot of times these guys are sex offenders or life. There's something going on with that, why they'd always be going to the law library. A lot of sexually dangerous predators, and this is kind of a non sequitur, they have a lifetime on parole, and so it's like 3 to life, but non sequitur, I don't think it's enough punishment to just give somebody life in prison. I don't think it is. Not for shit like this. Not when they're mad witnesses. Everybody know what the deal is. It took no time at all to come back with a verdict in this case. And this guy's just basically throwing it in people's faces saying, I don't even recognize your goof-ass laws,
Okay, as we're saying, this is when he was found guilty and he's about to be sentenced, and I just want to play this part because he makes some very strange statements under his breath, and yeah, you'll see.
I will also advise that at 9:43 a.m. this morning, I was advised that the jury had reached verdicts in this matter, and without anything further, I'll have the jury brought out.
Yeah, the jury probably just wanted to get one meal off of it. They probably went back in the room like, guilty! All of them before they even, immediately. They're like, let's just hold off and see if they'll get us some crab or something for this shit. They probably got a bunch of good box lunches, but,
Your Honor, I don't consent to being called that name and would like to address subject matter jurisdiction for the record that has yet to be proven.
There's yet to be proven that my name is my name. And mind you, like I said, with the sovereign citizen, he was born with the birth certificate. He was born, I'm sure he's had a social security number. I'm sure he's gotten a lot of benefits. I'm sure he's gotten a whole paper trail, all this shit. A driver's license to get that car. How do you get that car? And yet, right now, and I'm sure somebody hyped him up, or he read this in some Nation of Islam or the Moorish people's group. This poor guy looks like, oh my God, dear God. Because right now is the time when a lot of these guys make a jump to do something horrible to people in the gallery or the jury or the jury or the judge.
Your objections are noted and will not be addressing subject matter jurisdiction.
Your Honor, seeing as that we've reached a verdict, is it necessary that I have these shock devices on my ankles?
Why? Why, buddy? These shock devices on my ankles? And this guy, dude, these 2 dudes in the back. Oh, yeah, no problem. Let me this leering psychopath, this guy who's been a complete sack of garbage, and violent and testy the whole way through. You're about to be sentenced, and we're gonna go ahead and take this off as it, and in his mind, I wonder if he's delusional. He's the type of guy who probably the first 10 years of his prison bit are gonna be like, man, he's gonna be telling dudes, man, they didn't have no more fun.
Please bring the jury out.
Would it be proven for the record, Your Honor?
She's just telling you no, buddy.
Just a reminder.
Hey, dude, why? Like I said, why is he wearing a goddamn mask? Okay, it's 2022, and this is crazy.
To everyone, that I do expect everyone in the courtroom to demonstrate appropriate decorum and courtesy as the verdicts are read and refrain from audible responses. Any disruptions may result in removal from the courtroom.
He's just sitting there dicking around with his paper. He could, and this is just so ridiculous that these people, the people in the gallery, mind you, they probably had to limit it just to victims and people, like, there's so many people this man affected, and this is just all, he's just going through his goofy ass. He's probably got, like, a little doodle in one of these pads of, like, the judge. That's
Your Honor, is that a tacit agreement not to address subject matter jurisdiction for the record?
Is that a tacit agreement? Okay, and then he's going to go down, once again, this is where somebody hyped him up, and he's probably been able to go to the law library at the county jail, or some type of lawyer who's like a black supremacist. And probably that's really what happened, is that somebody, reached out to advise him through this. It was like, nah, man, I'm not going to defend you, but I'll help you, give you some pointers. And he goes down all these objections. Like, at the end, it's done. Dude, they're reading the verdict. You're smoked. Stop.
Jury's coming in. All rise, please.
I respectfully object to that ruling, Your Honor, and request the legal reconsideration of your ruling for the record.
Your requests are noted, sir. We will not be addressing that further.
For the record, may I respectfully reject that ruling and take exception to that ruling, Your Honor.
Yeah, well, no, you can't, buddy. You're not a sovereign citizen. You're an American citizen. You've benefited from this country.
It might have been a false alarm.
For the record, may I respectfully request a written judicial finding of fact and conclusion of law on this issue, Your Honor?
He did, literally, I mean, this has to be just his either delusion or just disrespect, disdain, disgust that he's literally going through these objections while they're bringing in the jury. And it's kind of sad because there's a part of him inside that's saying, no, I don't want this to happen. Deep down. But above that is a bunch of just, hate for everybody and everything because this man didn't did. It's horrible to watch because you like, anytime you watch somebody's being condemned for life, a part of you is like, that sucks. But this man just makes it, like, for the jury and all the people in the room, he made it so easy. Just no, F you scumbag. He just realized he was doing.
Hey, you are to be removed right now.
Burn in hell, you
will not
shit.
do that.